I should return this and like folding the material back on itself. And I'm not an expert at this, but I did go teach a class at PPG. No fracture, taking any of the excess off. I know this sounds goofy, but this works pretty well if we can get it. You can use a little putty knife. There's a bunch of putty knives right down on the bottom of the shelf. Just try not to drop Bondo on my floor, so take your time, be slow.
Gloves.
Anybody need Bondo?
Yes.
We're all like that. I go.
What was that color treatment that you used for that?
I made sure I scraped the edges when I was mixing, and I made sure I switched pails, because this is a lot of bronze, a lot of powdered pigment, and we would not want chunks and clumps popping up to the top.
What type of roller?
This is a foam roller, just a bigger, just an 8-inch foam roller. Now, before I push too much of this off, I really want to make sure I break any of that surface tension and roll my entire edge. Everything else just comes straight down. I don't want any like surface tension drips that separate or anything, if that makes sense. I've always seen that before. And now I could easily just keep painting and go back over to my other side, but remember, I want this to be an even layer too, and I don't want to pull like I had a void here. I don't want to just paint it here on the end. I want it to come all the way up in here and really leave a smooth layer on the entire surface. And now I'm going to start working back across. I'll leave a little bit on this front edge just to drip off. Better deal with this end as well. Now, that should be a very nice edge right there, as long as we don't torch it. It was about 88 probably, so it was. So I'm not just wasting it. If you don't run that edge, you have a chance of it not really sticking and it has a little surface tension or air behind it. So just running this on there really will aid in a much smoother surface. And of course I poured more than enough, more than even the 15 square feet per gallon here, so we have plenty of product. But what we're going to try to do is we're going to accent lots of colors into this countertop, and we're going to keep pouring colors, and then I'm going to scrape the colors down into there. And the way this is going to be a wood grain is because we're going to sand through all those colors and expose and open them up just like you would a rock or something like that. So
kind of overlap the last one?
Yeah, quite a bit. I want to run it quite a few times, and I want to make sure my grains aren't crossing each other. So if one grain squiggles, the next line needs to too. So things need to kind of come together.
It looks like the rainbow eucalyptus in Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
Their bark is colored.
That's awesome.
Any idea what you would charge for a table like this?
How much money you got on you? I'm just kidding.
Take your notes.
Something like this, I mean, you should still be at around, you know, $65 to $85 a square foot easily. So,
The bigger porch top more effective than the smaller ones?
it's just wider and I can reach out across this and not step in my epoxy. This is a really nice tool for kitchens. It's actually not very aggressive. If you notice, that flame's not very strong at all.
No.
So, it's just a really dispersed head. This has just been sanded with 200 and 400 grit sandpaper. So there's your wood grain. Do you see what a different look it has after it's been sanded? And all those scrapes, all the scraping action was purposefully done in there so that I have all these striations under the surface after I sand it. But if I hadn't have done all those scrapes that look like they're just pointless, I would never have this, what I think is a beautiful wood look. I think that turned out pretty good. And now it's kind of honed down, dull. I'll go for that every damn day. So here is wire pull tape. Same stuff you use for truck bed liners, and the titanium wire should cut through the bark edge when we finish this. So I'm going to put this down, and I'm actually going to trowel what's called our true metal onto the edge of this. So we're actually going to have real brass troweled edges on this. And right now what I need to decide is if I'm capable of tracking a single wood grain down this, or what I need to do to create a bark edge on this. So I think I'm going to start on this side. I can't remember. What did they say this looked like? Oh yeah, the rainbow wood in Hawaii or something is what they were saying this looked like. It's masking for my bark on the edge of my fake epoxy wood grain table. I'm going to do a quick wipe down of this table just to make sure any major particles or anything on here are off from the 320 grit. Now I was using a pretty nice bonded pad, so it's not like it's losing a ton of particles. Now get those 500 grit particles off. off of there before I go up to the 1,000. I don't want to swirl around those coarser grit particles and leave sanding swirls. So just wipe it down fast. You can start moving a little slower. This should start actually getting into your first part of your sort of polish, your shine on your metal. Your table should not quite be polished yet, but it should be very satin smooth to the touch. Should feel very, very smooth now. This is about where I like to stop. I like leaving stuff about this shiny, because man, if you clean this up, this is just gonna clean easily, maintain really nice. You're never gonna see a scratch on it. It's just beautiful. Really fast for a while now. We've revamped our entire shipping facility, and we ship out of Wisconsin, and we ship very fast all over the U.S. So. Okay, this is 5,000, and that is a perfect natural sheen going back on this. As far as if you wanted something to look more like a natural rock or wood, this is what I personally would prefer. So this is how only way I would probably finish my own kitchen or anything that was one of my surfaces. A little extra work, but holy crap, what you see when it's done is just so worth it. I must say, that is about the smoothest top I have ever felt. So, very smooth.